All right, welcome YouTube. So we are changing up just a bit. We got quite a bit of polishing to do here. We want to do some polishing, and we need to do polishing to get everything back on the car. So that's what we're going to kind of be working on now. Over the past few weeks, I've been doing some sanding on some stuff just to try and get any scratches out of everything. But we're going to take you through real quick on what our plan is, what all we're doing. But before that, I need to start getting in the habit of starting my videos with asking every one of y'all to subscribe, to share, to like the videos, all that stuff that we always note. But I need to start noting it at the beginning of the video, so please do so. Please share the channel. We want to get a few more viewers and followers and everything like that, and without your help we can't do so. So with that said, let's go through some of the stuff that we're going to be doing. So here, first off, is the tubing, the intake tubes and stuff. You can see here that I've sanded them down. What I've done was I just started out with, I think it was like 200 or 400 grit, and then went 600 and 800. I actually initially started out by doing a little bit more than that, going to a higher grit. But what I found out, I did a little test on there. You can see it's a little bit shinier there, but it's not really necessary, at least on the aluminum. So that is where I stopped. I just threw the 800 grit on. I think I could have got by with 400 and 600, but either way, that's what I've done. It's taken some time, and I've got some more sanding to do too. This one here is pretty far along. Just need to kind of fine tune that, finish it up. We're gonna do all the headers, all the tubing here. This still needs to be sanded down a little bit. And then we've done the one turbo. We're going to hit it up again. We still got to sand this down yet, but we're going to polish that as well. And then right now we're going to start out by doing the oil tank here, because we need this on to finish plumbing. And then we're going to clean up the valve covers again, as those were just hit real quick. And then we'll probably, being these been messed with a little bit, there's a few scratches, fine scratches on the throttle bodies there, so we may do those again as well, get those shiny. And then last but not least, this is a potential, not 100% set on this, but potentially the radiator too. So we got some nice shine under the hood. It's going to take some time, but when it's all said and done, it'll be well worth it. So what we're using here first, don't quote me on all this, I can't remember exactly, but we're starting out with the heavy grit pad here for buffing, and then we're going to be using the Mizurna. We got the heavy cut with that pad, with the yellow pad, and then here's the medium cut, and we're going to be using the medium cut here for the Mizurna. And then for the last one, we got a cotton untreated pad here. That's going to be the final, which is our finish. Mizurna also has an ultra finish as well. I think it's ultra finish, but I didn't buy that. It was a $50 bar, so we're hoping that this will work. And then we're going to run, I believe this is a 3,500 RPM is what we're going to start out with. And then with the cotton, just to prevent from it blowing away, blowing up on us, we might finish with the hand buffer on that one, because this is a little bit softer pad. So that's our plan, and we're going to get to it. So when we throw the clay bars on, you don't want to let it, soak it up too much. It's real quick. You just kind of throw it on. You'll see it in the video. And then you want to kind of regularly clean your pad throughout the process as well. So the heavier grit pad, not as much, but you still got to do it a little bit. So I'm no professional at this, but we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully it all works out the way we hope, and it'll all be looking good when it's all said and done. So we're going to get to work. Alright, so I lied a bit. We're actually not going to be starting out with the oil tank. Reason being is because I had to stop right there. We needed to get it on. So, went ahead and polished it and finished doing some of the plumbing stuff. But I'll show you what it looks like here. So it turned out really good. And this is kind of what, for the most part, what we're going for and everything else. So that's all mounted up and plumbed up. So that's all done. But we're going to move on to the tubing. Dad's going to work on sanding down the headers. And there was one other thing that I didn't note to make sure to ensure that you do with these pads when you mount them. So let me see if I can find, here it is actually right here. So you want to make sure that this is going with the direction the wheel's spinning, or against the direction the wheel's spinning. So that little flap there, you want to make sure it's facing this way. So this wheel is going to be spinning that way. And you want to make sure that that flap is going against it, right? So I think that kind of makes sense, facing the opposite direction that this wheel is going to spin. So just an extra little note to make when you're there. So we're going to get this thing outside and we're going to start buffing on them. But it's pretty toasty today. So I'm going to go over in the grass, find some shade, and that's where we're going to be buffing it. So we're about to start making a little bit of a mess, but it's going to make everything look a lot cleaner. So we're going to start on this tubing right here, and hopefully we can run through that pretty quick and work on to the next. Alright, so there's after the heavy cut. It looks pretty good. It's probably hard to kind of see there in the light, but I don't know if it'll focus in. You can still see kind of from that pad. Obviously it's a higher grit pad, so there are some fine lines in it. And yeah, there's some imperfections in it. This aluminum's just so tough. It's so fragile. Honestly, you sneeze on this thing and it'll kind of dent. So you gotta be real careful with it. But either way, kind of look back at it afar, and we still got 2 more stages to do. So it we got the medium and then a finish, and then it'll be done. But looks pretty good. Looks good when you put it in the light too. So that's kind of where we're at. And try to do some cross hatching where you're kind of buffing this way and you're also buffing this way, so it can kind of knock down any of those fine little grooves in it. But it's gonna look good on the car, and pretty happy with it so far. So we're gonna keep working with it. Like I said, this aluminum, and after time taking it in and out, it's gonna probably need to be done again at some point. But this will be the first initial big coat. And I mean, if you wanted to spend hours upon hours upon hours of doing this, you could probably make them look pretty dang close to perfect. But man, like I said, just aluminum's just it's just tough to polish like this. So any imperfection, and what happens is when you have these radiuses like this, these 90s, these 180s, 45s, whatever you're using, I mean, they're putting it in a big vise to bend them, so it's leaving little dings in it here and there. But either way, aside from that, it looks way better than it did. And you know, worst comes to worst, if I don't like it sometime down the road, we can get them powder coated. So we'll see what happens. We're gonna keep rocking and rolling with it. Dad's still working on the headers, getting them sanded down and ready to rock and roll, so I can start polishing those, and hopefully we can get this done so we can move on to another part of the project. So next we're gonna go down to the medium cut, and we'll get that down. And then after that, I'll show you what it looks like after the medium cut. But after that, we'll do the finish cut, and then maybe sometime down the road. I didn't buy I think I told you all this earlier, but I didn't buy they have a heavy cut, medium cut, finish, and then I think it's ultra finish maybe, but the ultra finish bar is like $50. So I'm just gonna try the finish and see what that looks like, and if I think it needs more, then I'll just order that and get another pad, finish that up. But that's kind of the plan now. So we're gonna get on to the medium cut, and we'll show you what that looks like when it's all said and done. So there it is after the medium cut. It's getting a little bit shinier. Could polish it up a little bit with some wax or something, but really I think I wiped off most of the stuff that was on it, and then any little bitty fine stuff should be taken out by this the light, if you will. So the last phase for the most part. So it's looking pretty good, especially when you stand back from a little bit and look at it. But that's what we're going to be working on next, is the light and the finish. The finish, that's the word I'm looking for. So that'll be it, and then polish it up with some wax, and we'll be moving on to the next thing and then putting it on the car. Alright, so this is the last step. We have to run this just because RPM wise you got to run at a lot lower RPM. So this is right around, well, this is adjustable, so we'll set it about 1500 RPM, whereas that I think it's right around that 3500 range, and you're taking a chance of blowing this thing apart, this pad for the finish there. So we're gonna do it by hand. It's gonna make it a little bit tougher because as you can see we got it set up on the table. We're gonna have to kind of roll it around a little bit, but we'll see how it goes, and hopefully this will all finish up nice and pretty, and this will be the last step. Alrighty, there it is. As you can see, it's dang near got a mirror finish to it. We are gonna probably take some rubbing compound to it just to clean up all the excess polish that we have on it. But yeah, so looks pretty good. We'll be moving on to the next. I don't know if you can see yourself in there through the screen or not. I'm just joking, made you look. But either way, that's where we're at, and take some rubbing compound, and I think that's going to be about it. So we're going to move on to the next thing and just keep polishing away and getting all this knocked out. So stay tuned, see how it all looks when it's all said and done. Alright, so the next step in the process, we're going to be rolling on to the valve covers. So one thing to note about these valve covers is they're actually already somewhat polished prior to you know, obviously the wear and tear that they've had on them since they've been sitting around, and the motor's been pulled, the motor's been put back in. So honestly, there are some imperfections in it, in them. There are some dings and things like that that just aren't going to come out unless I really wanted to spend a ton of time on it. And I really just don't feel like getting into that, you know, rough grit sandpaper and getting potential low spots and then just having an uphill battle at that point. So it's not extremely significant. There's some dings here and there, like I said, from taking the motor in and out and just moving around and things like that. So I've already got it sanded down and ready to rock and roll, ready to polish. But either way, they're going to be looking really good. In the long run, it's not a priority right now at this moment, and but my plan at some point is to buy new valve covers. I want valve covers without any lettering on it. These say Brodex performance heads, and I just want just straight polished valve covers. But either way, it doesn't look bad by any means, and it's just right now it's not an expense that I feel like purchasing. I know valve covers aren't extremely expensive, but either way, we got other priorities right now at this point. So it's another step in the process. I'll give you a quick look here at what it looks like. So this is after the polishing process, or excuse me, sanding process. Just hit it with 800 grit and spend a little bit more time in some certain areas. So you can see like little bitty dings like that. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. A little bit of a glare there, but there's some little bitty dings that if you looked up on it really close you might see. But either way, they're going to be looking really good too when it's all said and done. So we're going to get onto that, and it's just another step in the process to get through all this polishing stuff, and it's about to get messy again, but this one should go pretty quick and easy. We're going to use the same clay bars, same polishing wheels and everything like that as we did on the tubing. So without further ado, let's get to work. Alrighty, so here's a little before and after, kind of a before and after. I messed up and I went ahead and sanded this before I did a before and after, but you can see it's just, you know, it's just knocked down. It's like I said, high grit 800 right here is what it looks like before the polishing process, and then here is your finished polished product. So we'll take it and we'll use some rubbing compound on that, obviously, just like we will with this one when it's all said and done. But here are the differences. See, it looks really good. We'll have that breather tube going from here down to that top frame rail too. So like you all heard me earlier, that that lettering there for the most part will be covered up. But man, I think it turned out really good, especially for these sitting around for a bit. So there they are. Looks really good. See me in there pretty good. So I am pretty happy with it. All right, so we're going to move on to the stainless. We got a lot to do here with stainless, but Dad's been working his butt off on getting it all sanded down. Unfortunately, it's really kind of taken three steps, three processes to get it sanded down, to knock down, to get it smooth first off for the higher grit, and then or I guess a lower grit, I think right around 100, and then moving down to 320 on the sander after that, and then doing it by hand. So there is a benefit and a deficit from the aluminum to stainless. Aluminum is a lot easier to, I guess, sand down, if you will, whereas the stainless is a lot more durable, so it does make it a little bit tougher to get all the fine scratches and stuff out of it, but it buffs up a lot nicer, and it doesn't take as much wear and tear as that aluminum does. So either way, we got quite a bit to do here, so we're going to show you all the process on the primaries, or a primary, and probably one of the bigger tubes as well. But same thing, we're using the same pads. The compound works for both aluminum and the stainless, so we're good there, and it's going to be the same process. So let's get to work. Alright, there it is. That's all the stainless for now. I don't know, it's not perfect, but what we've noticed is that and yeah, we're a little wore out. This is standing up and doing this, moving around can be a little taxing, but either way, you know, they're good, they look good, but there are some areas of imperfection on it, just due to the fact that, you know, all these radiuses and stuff were put in a a bender to get those radiuses, and it leaves some mar marks on them. And honestly, to get that all the way down, there's just not enough material here for me to feel comfortable, especially with this. There's going to be some torque on this stuff. It's going to get hot, and the less material you have there, the more potential for cracks and things like that. So pick your poison at that point. We didn't want to keep sanding down on it too much, but there's not really much of a happy medium between getting those mar marks out and leaving swirl marks. So if you look real close, you're probably going to see some swirl marks on it, but for now, I can see myself in it, and it's going to be good enough. Maybe at some point we may come back and maybe over a winter or something like that, but man, this is just really time consuming, and at the end of the day, really, this isn't helping us getting this car running. So we're gonna call it good for now, and get all this stuff put back on the car. It is gonna look really good. So some of the pieces look immaculate, like a mirror. Some of them need a little bit more work, but it'll get it at some point. We're very pleased with it. Like I said, like earlier, y'all probably can see yourself in there maybe through the screen. Either way, we're gonna put it back on the car, show y'all what it looks like in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. You like it, you don't like it, and if you got any suggestions or anything like that, it'd be great too. So stay tuned. We're gonna put this stuff on. Alright, so that's a wrap for this video, and we hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know in the comment section down below what y'all think, and if you have any suggestions. If you've done a similar process in the past, we want to hear about it and what's worked for you. We're not professional polishers by any means, but this is the route that we took, and we hope you all can take this video, you can learn from it, and you can use it for yourself as well. So that's that. I also noted in the last video that this video was going to be in relation to the plumbing part of the car, but as y'all could see, I was kind of excited to get this video out there, so this one jumped that one, and the next video that we roll out will be the plumbing portion. And honestly, in that video you can see some of the polished stuff in it, so I felt that it was probably better to roll this one out first. Either way, we hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like and share, hit that little notification button in the bottom. We greatly appreciate it, and it helps us out a lot, and we love having you all along in this journey with us. We hope you all had a Merry Christmas and you all have a Happy New Year. We hope that you achieve all the goals that you set out to achieve in 2022, but don't forget, thank God every day for the blessings that He puts forth, and count those blessings each and every day. So until next time, God bless.